Oh, thank you so much for joining me on this special show. This is the third in a series of sewing shows. I showed you how to make a spring scarf, alter a sleeveless blouse, and I'm going to show you how to take up a pair of pants because it's really very easy to do, and I hope you'll feel that way after the show. All right, so I had taken these up. I had checked the length on these, and I had pinned them. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to check and make sure that I've got the same amount taken up all the way around. So we're looking at like 4 3/4. I'll just check down here. Okay, I'm going to go on the back. And if you're off like a 1/4 of an inch, 4 3/4. Okay, so we're good. All right. And then what I did was I put pins right on the fold because I'm going to now turn this back inside out because of course I'm going to sew it on the inside. And I just wanted to show you this. When I did the show for the blouse, I had a little package of pins which I cannot find, which that's nothing new in my house. So I got this old-fashioned needle, this pin cushion, and they still sell these, and it's kind of a cute little thing because this is a tomato, but it's got a little strawberry hanging on to it, and of course this is full of grit, and I don't know if they still make these. I think they do. And this is full of grit, and so when you want to sharpen your needles, you press into this, and it supposedly sharpens the needles, so, and the pins. So anyway, and it's been snarled up in the sewing box, but I needed pins, I couldn't find them, so there it is. All right, so now I'm going to turn this inside out. All right. Okay. All righty. And something I was going to show you, but when you have something that's a pair of pants that's very long on you, this seems to be a straight leg pretty much. This is pretty much straight. But if there is a little bit of flare, when you go to make the hem, the bottom of the hem is going to be a little bit bigger possibly than where you are sewing it on the leg. So in that case, sometimes you have to do a little bit of finagling with a little bit of a gather to bring that in. But that's not going to be a problem for us here. And okay, so now what you don't want to do when you take up a pair of pants. Okay, so I'm just going to iron this down right here. Just going to iron this seam open, because you want that seam to be open. You don't want to have too deep of a hem because you're going to, no matter how handy you are with a needle and thread, they're going to see a little bit on the outside of the pants. And you don't want to see the little stitches, 5 inches, 4 3/4 inches up from the bottom of it. It would just look terrible. So, all right, so now I'm going to take these, so that's where my pins are. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of, I'm going to just go here like this, and I'm going to sort of put the pins this way. And you say, well, what in the world is the purpose of that? Well, the purpose of that is for me to see, because I'm going to mark where the hem is going to be, and then I will cut off, the extra here at the bottom. So, and that was something I learned a long time ago. So if you've got the needles this way, and then you could try to draw the line, you might. So this way the needles are out of the way. Okay, let me go over here, and I've got a little bit of a. Well, I'm not just do it this way. Okay, let's go this way. Kind of see. I've got a little bit of a crease there, and I'm going to go back and double check on my pins here. Okay, I think that's enough. All right. Okay. Well, actually, I suppose that was probably a wasted effort because I'm going to now check again on my 4 3/4. Okay, and I've got my little pencil here, so I'm just going to mark. I'm going to go right along. And if you say to yourself, well, you know, I really can't be bothered with this, then you'll want to go and have them done. But you know, a lot of these places that I'm actually not at this is a funny kind of a funny, oh, it's 5, yeah, there it is. It's kind of funny the way they've done these markings on this one. So a lot of these places where you go to have your sewing done, you know, a lot of these people really are not tailors, and oh, there's a pin under there. And I think I mentioned before, and I'm not shilling for him, but there is a tailor in Medway who is absolutely fabulous. His minimum charge, maybe it's just for the women, because my husband had his pants taken up there and they only charged him $15, whereas he has charged me for everything I've wanted at least $20. So I don't know what that's all about, but alrighty, so we'll do one more here. Okay, so all right. Now, as you can see, I'm a little bit off on that one fellow there. All right. Now, what I'm going to show you is something that you probably don't have at home, which is pinking shears. And the pinking shears, the purpose of pinking shears is that when you cut the edge, you don't have this long edge. It's going to where the strings are just going to come right out and unravel. So, but I brought my other scissors because I figure you probably don't have. I mean, I bought these probably maybe 30 years ago, and they were about $25, but they're very handy to have, you know, if you really are going to do any sewing. And I used to do more sewing until I got the cats, and now I really don't have a place to spread out where they won't bother me. So I'm just going to show you the pinking shear. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to start cutting up here, and I want to see how I want to make my where I want to make. So this is going to be my hemline, but I'm going to cut down here because I'm going to obviously I have to hem it. so there's what you see with the pinking shear. And so, you know, when it just, you know, little threads will come out, but it won't be as bad as a straight edge. All right, so I'm going to let me just go ahead and again check. And I think I'd like to have about I'm gonna say an 1.25 inches. So here I am at 4. So I'm going to mark it here and check. So that's right about where I was before. So just about here. Okay. Okay. 4 1/4. This thing is a little confusing the way they've marked this. See, the 4 is here, isn't it? This is kind of usually they put the numbers right above the line here, but they've got it at the quarter. Okay. All right. Need to make too big a deal of this, but all right. So I'm going to go with my regular scissors, and I'm just going to cut right along here. And if you can, you want to kind of keep an eye and see if you can kind of see the, take that off there. You can kind of see the lines in the okay. So I'm just going to Open this up and go right along here. Now, something else that I meant to bring today and that I had bought, well, I'll just concentrate on what I'm doing here before I launch. Oh. The pins. Oh, I forgot to take these. Oh. Okay. Okay. Alrighty. So, now what I had gone to Joann Fabrics to buy, but Michaels has these things, AC Moore, was some, sorry, was iron-on hem tape, which again, I disappeared on me and I couldn't find it and I didn't have time to go and buy another one. Iron-on hem tape is something that you would iron on this side, and you just iron it right on, and then you have a little edge here with which to sew. And you don't have to sew on the raw edge. But since we do not have that, we're going to iron underneath here a little edge to give us that finished edge. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to iron under here, and you make it about maybe 1/3 of an inch. You know, I mean, I don't know about you, but if it's a matter of, you say, well, this is too much trouble. You know, it's not just a matter of the expense of having somebody do it, but for me, I feel like there's a real satisfaction in doing this myself. Okay. And I don't know if you recall, but what I'm using underneath here in lieu of an ironing board is a sort of a padded template to block sweaters, which I never do. And I had this for the longest time. I just don't like the way the pressing looks on the sweater. All right, so now I've pressed my edge. All right, so now, you know, I think I'm just going to be double check on my length again. So I'm going to go to the inseam, which is here, and this has actually come out a little more narrow than I expected, but that's all right. That's all right. So let me just go to my inseam and just kind of get an idea here of where I am. It's 24. That is, so that's 24 and 24, and let's say 24, 28 and a half. Okay. All right. And if I check over here, so this should be 28 and a half plus almost 5. So let's see what that comes out to. So that would be what, 33? Yeah. You know, and again, I mean, it's not, you know, you know, I'm just being a little extra careful here. Okay, so that was 24 and 24 and just about 8. So we're all right. Okay, so we're all right. Okay. Now, so I know this thing is as big as a flag, isn't it? All right, so now coming down, and now I'm going to put my pins in again this way. When I go and just sort of follow here, and that pencil that's on the inside there, that will come out. I'm not, although they do sell blue pencils that wash right out for you to do your, you know, I'm a little bit off here, a little squirrely here, but that's okay. Okay. Let me turn this off. We're having a terrible, terrible heat wave here in Norfolk, and for me personally, it's bad hair day weather. So I just I just wash it, and I try to let it kind of do what it wants to do, because it will anyway. Bad hair days. I was going to wear, I don't know if you happen to watch the beading show, but I was going to wear the necklace that I had made, but I mean, it was so hot in my house, I couldn't even bear having that necklace on me, so another time. Hopefully there'll be a state and local pretty soon. I'm doing promos for the other shows. Not intentionally. Alrighty, so all right, now, okay, now I'm going to, if you happen to watch the show on making a spring scarf, I'm going to use that technique when I sew. And you know what I think I'm also going to do? I'm going to, oh gosh, I had a threaded needle here, and it's on, oh, well, okay. That was the pink thread that was flying around. It came out of my needle. So, you know, I'm going to use a black thread here, and I'm going to baste this, and it's an extra step. If you aren't worried about getting your finger stuck, then, but I'm going to baste it, which is just a big running stitch. And I'm going to do it right above where that little fold is that I ironed in. So then I don't have to worry about those needles sticking me. Or having the thread get caught on the pin. And of course, you want to always have the reference point line up your seam. In fact, I like to start my hemming at the seam. And if you're really, if you're really concerned about getting it really even, you can do some of your, that's what we'll do today. We'll do some of the hemming at one seam side, and we'll go to the other side and then fill in. And again, sorry for the noise of the air conditioner, but to keep the coolness at this level, we have to have that noise. Actually, I brought some of my, I collect handkerchiefs, and I brought some with me in case I was going to have to mop my brow. I'll just, this is kind of interesting. I collect tatted handkerchiefs. I have other ones as well, but, and these are ones that people's grandmothers, maybe great-grandmothers made. I think I might have shown you one once before, but it was not tatting that I had that one. And I don't know how they just get rid of them. I really don't get it. But I buy them in, you know, in secondhand stores and that sort of thing. Alrighty. Okay. All right. Oops. Okay. So there's my. Okay. Let me just show. I'll just show you these. We come to a little stopping point. I'll just show you. This is tatting on linen. I mean, talk about. Oh, put it right here. I mean, talk about lose your mind. Detailed work. It's just astonishing. And now these cost about sometimes $3. You know, sometimes $5. One like this might be $5. But when I started collecting them, they were $1 each. Of course, a lot of things were cheaper then. And here's another one. And I don't know, I just think about these ladies that did all this work. I can't imagine why the family wouldn't have wanted, you know, to keep these. And they're usually in like really kind of garish colors. I guess that was kind of the style. And then there's one here. Okay. This is embroidery, and it looks like they've cut pieces out and applied them. It's called, see, there's the back. Oh, no, you know what this is? No, this is all actually stitching back here. This is all stitching. And I wonder, I guess this is hand done. I don't know. This looks like this is machine done, but, you know, it might be. I mean, but the work on these ladies did such fine work that, okay. Sometimes you really couldn't tell. All right. I'm just going to take, let me see if I can get this needle threaded. If it's taking me a little while, we'll just take a little break. So, okay. Oh, that was lucky. All right. Of course, obviously, you wouldn't be doing this in pink, but I thought you would be able to see it better. All right. Now, when you do, obviously, you want to get thread that matches. If you have a print, then you're going to have to just figure out what's the dominant color and go with that, you know. Okay, so I've got this little edge here. Okay, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to just pick it up right there, and then pick it up here. Now, when we were doing the scarf, we were carrying. I think we were carrying. Yes, we were carrying the thread in here. If you remember, we were going inside that little tube, like that. And that's what we were doing on the scarf. But on pants, we don't have to worry about that, and this will go much faster. So, and then I'm going to come right up and see how it looks over here. Oh, uh-oh, see, now, all righty, a good thing I checked. I forgot to bring the thread back. Oh boy, okay. All right, back to the needle and thread here. Oh, good. an unusually steady hand. Okay. Right. Bring that back up. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to take this right there. Now, I suppose if you wanted to make it a little easier for yourself, you could, but the important thing is to just take a tiny little bit underneath. But then if you want to go in here, bring this up higher, well, you know, nobody's going to notice that. So why don't we do it that way? So I've got gone right here, through there, and there's my, and take just a tiny bit. And look, you know, if worst comes to worst, you can always, I mean, as long as you haven't cut off too much, you can, you can always take it back and have somebody else do it. Sorry. You know, we're just going to take a little break here. Let me get, I need to straighten this thread out, this thread situation. We'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to continue this right along. So if Christine, if you can just, if Chris, if you can just send me over to Christina so she can see. Okay, good. So I would encourage you to try doing this, you know, especially if you've, you know, let's say you've picked up a pair of pants at the job lot for $5. You know, try it on one of those. And as like I said, you know, if worst comes to worst, okay, so here I am. Now what I like to do here is I like to go under here at the seam and really kind of anchor this. So I'm just going to pull this open, kind of go under here. All right. And I really like to kind of anchor it on this plain fabric. And just pick that one layer up. Okay. And really give it a good anchoring here on the okay, so let's see how it looks so far. Now, not too bad. Now, remember, of course, this would have been in white, you know, so not too bad. And if your stitches are big, I mean, this is kind of ideal, these little tiny ones. But I mean, this is okay. And so I'm going to move over to the other side and anchor my other seam. I'm going to turn on my iron. Okay. Okay, so I think we have enough thread here. You know, the heat has been just so terrible. I mean, it's almost like the one time I went to Florida, I was never going to go back. And I came out of that airport, and this was in the summer because we were, you know, I was teaching then, and that was the only time I had to go. And it was like every ounce of moisture in me just went, oh, you could just feel every pore sweating. It was so bad, so very bad. And that's almost the way it is here today in Norfolk. Okay, so I'm going to grab that. Let's see if, make sure I didn't, okay. And go under here. Make a big stitch here, Now, don't hesitate. If you've bought a pair of pants that has a pocket on the seam and it bunches out and it makes your hips look even wider, do not hesitate to stitch those pockets down. I mean, obviously you won't have the pockets anymore, but I try to buy pants that have a slanted pocket so that you don't have this. I mean, I don't know why they do. Oh, I do know why they do it. It's cheaper to throw a pocket in on the seam because you've already got an opening there than to shape a pocket and then apply it in the pants, but with the edge of the pocket now is separate from the side seam, if you know what I'm saying, if you understand what I'm saying. So, and it's really very unflattering. I think it's unflattering on everybody. So, all right, so, okay, so I'm going to, and actually, you know what, I'm really okay with this because I don't have anything gapping here. So, and you can, of course, you just take this and you give it a good pull and you just see that you've got everything smooth. So, okay, I'm going to just finish this up here. And I'll come under here again, just a little tiny. Okay. And over here. So it's really very simple. You just kind of hold it like that. You just kind of brace it with your finger. You've got the two, you've got this edge here, so in here and through. And that's really all there is to it. Now, if you had gotten the, okay, so I'm going to end this off here. If you were using the iron-on hem facing, it's really better to do it this way because, a little harder, but it's better to do it this way because those hem facings can come loose when you wash, and I don't know, I'm kind of funny about my clothes. I'm very meticulous about washing. Some people, you know, figure that it just wears the clothes out, and do you really have to wash them every time? That's it's just a personal thing. But so this way, you know that this is not going to come out. So if we look at, if we look at what I've done. So that's not too bad. I've got a few here that are large, but again, remember that I used contrasting thread so you could see what I was doing. And so, I'll take the other ones here. No. I don't know where that name Pinking Shears came from. I don't know, it must be some, if I'd have thought of it, I would have looked it up so I could tell you during the show. It's probably some British expression. It just sounds, I don't know. Or there was some obscure, perhaps it was the person that invented them. Now, one thing about your scissors, if you do buy a good pair of scissors, do not cut paper with them because they will be ruined. You always want to keep a pair of scissors for paper. And when you're talking about, scissors like these, and yes, can they be sharpened? I believe Pinking Shears can be sharpened, but I'm sure it's quite expensive. All right, so this was what we've done. We have the rest of it still to do. I'll finish this at home. In fact, let me throw a pin in there just to keep this in place. Okay. All right. So since we've already got it, as a matter of fact, let's just, we may as well, I've got the iron here, let's just iron it. And then we'll turn it around. Well, let's iron it, let's, you know what, this is not going to be a problem. Let me just iron this for you, what we've done here. And we'll just see, okay. I didn't know if you wanted this. Okay. So we're just going to put that get down here. Oh, there it is. And so there it is, and there's your, and you know, I mean, it's taken me, I've been doing, it just took me 25, this took me 40 minutes. I mean, I was going slower than I might usually go, but for me, I mean, I enjoy doing this. You have the satisfaction of doing something yourself. So I'll have the other leg, the other pant leg to do. Once you do the first one, the second one will be easier if it's your first time. And so that is there. You have taken up. I have taken up the shown you how to take up a pair of pants. And I think this is going to be, unless I think of something else to show you, I just want to at least do the 3 shows on the you know, the scarf and the blouse and the pants. And so I hope you've learned something. I hope you'll be able to, you feel a little bit more independent about doing things yourself that are really very simple to do and completely inexpensive. So I just want to thank you for watching. I have my fierce and fabulous camera woman here with me doing the close-ups, and the incomparable Chris Lane in the control room. So this, you've been watching, I'm Anne Marie Battistone. I didn't mention my name. I'm Anne Marie Battistone. You just learned how to take up a pair of pants, and you've been watching Norfolk Public Access, and I hope you'll join me next time. So thank you so much for watching.